So I just mentioned that I was going to be doing this thing out in California there with the always wonderful and delightful Shelley Stockwell.
I thought that was a great segue moment.
Well, the thing that's so curious about that is, yeah, that very same Shelley Stockwell just happens to be right here on this call. So I'm going to unmute her so that she can say hello to us. And hi, Shelley.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. That was awesome. I had to keep myself partially aware because otherwise I'd be on the floor. I dreamed of being like Ellen DeGeneres, so I showed you I became her for a minute. So, hello everybody who's listening, and also this is being recorded so people may listen to it at another time.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes, except when they are listening to it, it will be now.
That's true. This is a good point. Yes, because today is tomorrow's yesterday or something like that. So I'm Shelley Stockwell-Nicholas, and I'm going to talk about my most favorite topic, which is hypnosis. And everybody who's on this chat knows everything. They're hip, they gnosis everything, and that's why we call it hypnosis. And hypnosis is the coolest tool in the universe. And I became exposed to hypnosis when I was 19 years old, and I went to see Pat Collins, the hip hypnotist, in Hollywood, at Hollywood and Vine. And there she was with big false eyelashes and big blonde hair, and she went, "Sweep!" And everybody fell over, and I thought, this is the biggest pile of nonsense I've ever seen in my whole life. And for anybody who's listening who's not a hypnotist, that's usually the first impression. This is nuts. That doesn't make any sense. How can somebody yell sleep and you cave in? And so I just thought this was such nonsense that I ran up on stage to prove it was nonsense. And then I remember, the next thing I remember, I was 19 years old, and at the time, and when I was 19 years old, women had ratted hairdos. Remember the ratted hairdo?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was this woman with this enormously ratted blonde rat's nest of a hairdo. And when she said, "Sleep," I fell into this woman's hair. And so my nose was in her hair, and it smelled like spray net. This disgusting hairspray that women wore in those days. And I remember thinking to myself, it would be a very good idea to turn my head and not breathe her hair, nor the rat's nest, nor the stink. And I couldn't move. And it took me about 4.5 years to turn my head and get it out of this woman's hair. And I said, curiouser and curiouser, just like Alice in Wonderland. How is it that somebody can talk to you like that and you can change your state of mind to the point where you're following someone's instruction to the letter? Yeah. And I thought at first I was just not wanting to embarrass the woman, but it seemed to be bigger than that. And so curiouser and curiouser, the next thing that happened is she had people choose who was going to be suspended between two chairs, and the audience chose me. So now I'm suspended between two chairs on a stage at Hollywood and Vine, and a man is standing on me. And I'm looking up at the stage lights, and I'm saying to myself, self, maybe you're hypnotized, because I don't think you'd normally be doing this particular thing. But I wasn't completely convinced. So anyway, I thought about it for years, never did anything about it, and then finally I decided I've got to find out what this phenomenon is. And the truth of the matter is, we're all in a trance 24/7.
Right.
We're in a sleeping trance when we're deep in sound and slumber. We're in a trance when we give ourselves self-talk. We're in a trance when we decide to do something and motivate ourselves to do it or not do it. We're trancing our friends and each other in conversation. We are being entranced purposefully by the medical community, by politicians, by the media, by life, and by the cosmos, and by some unknown energy within us and outside of us. And hypnosis is the profound gift that has been given to each of us to be conscious of consciousness itself. This is a very big sentence. Hypnosis is a vehicle given to us to become conscious of consciousness itself.
Nice.
Now, a lot of people walk in a hall of mirrors. They live their life like this. All they see is their own reflection. And in that own reflection, they may not be introspective. They may only say, oh, look at me, aren't I cute? Oh, I gotta pluck my eyebrows, or whatever they say. But a few of us, and I think the people who are listening to this right now, we look into the hall of mirrors that is ourself, and we say, what am I thinking? What is the thought that I am thinking? And not only what is the thought that I am thinking, but who's thinking the thought that I'm thinking?
Mm-hmm.
And how did these thoughts that I'm thinking, how did they emerge within me? And so we come to a very profound question. What is thought? And so I want to put that out to everybody who's listening. What is thought? Today is Hypnotism Day. And today's the day we think about thinking. What is thought? I'd like to hear some feedback. What do you folks out there think? What is thought?
Raise your hand if you want to join in on this so we can unmute you.
Yeah, be unmutable.
And they can all unmute themselves if they have.
Yes.
Unmute yourself. So what is thought? It's a really tough question, isn't it? Now, it's interesting. I have spent a lot of time in Egypt. And there's a very cool character in Egypt. His name is Tahoth, or Thoth. And it's from Tahoth, or Thoth, that we get the word thought. It's the exact word. Tahoth, Thoth, thought. Matter of fact, a lot of our alphabet and our words come from ancient Egypt. They've just been knocked off and changed for our different cultures. So Tahoth, or Thoth, is a very interesting character. He is the ibis, or he is the scribe. And Tahoth, or Thoth, is the character in the pantheon of characters from ancient Egypt where you write down your thought. You are scribing your awareness. In other words, Tahoth, Thoth, thought is the way we become conscious of consciousness itself. And to become conscious of consciousness itself is what I think enlightenment is. Now, I used to teach with Orman McGill, and for those of you who don't know this old timer, he died at 93. He was the Dean of American Hypnosis. He was a really cool dude. And he used to do an exercise that I loved, and he would say, become aware of, let's do it now. Everybody, please become aware that you're breathing. And as you become aware of breathing, either nod your head or do something so I know you're thinking about breathing. Okay, good. You're all thinking about breathing. That's good, because if you weren't breathing, you'd be like dead. But that's another story. So you're breathing now, and you're aware of breathing. Now, as you're breathing and aware that you're breathing, ask yourself this question: who is breathing? Who's doing this breathing that you're doing? And become both the person aware of who's breathing and the breather at the same time. Become the breather and the person who's aware of the breathing at the same time. And breathe well and notice. You're almost there. Now become the observer of you breathing and observe the you who's aware of your breathing. Be in 3 positions at the same time. You, the breather, you noticing who's breathing, and you noticing the other 2 breathing parts, the breather and the witness to the breather. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do that in your life, become all 3 positions simultaneously, you will become the Buddha. You will become the Muhammad. You will become the Jesus. You'll become the Mary. You'll become the Kuan Yin. You will be enlightened, is what I think. Because you're experiencing hypnosis. You're experiencing tahath. You're experiencing thought. You're experiencing awareness. And it's a profound opening that happens within you when you are full of this light of being the doer, the observer of the doing, and the observer of both. It becomes this holistic, integrative, amazing experience. And it's both subjective and objective at the same time. So what did you think of the exercise? I'd like some feedback from you folks out there.
It's really very nice.
It's
Isn't that
very
interesting? So a lot of times Ormond would have us walk and then notice of the walker, and then be the person who is observing the walking and the observer of the walker. So it can be very, very interesting kind of 3 positions, position 1, 2, and 3 of awareness. My topic right now is transpersonal hypnosis. Transpersonal. Transpersonal means going beyond your personality. Now, what is your personality? What is your personage? Everybody take a deep breath, please. Pinch yourself. Are you alive? Just pinch yourself. Let's see if you're alive. Okay, this is the body you're in, right? That's part of your personality, is the way you move this structure, this body. So then move your body a little bit. That's one part of your personage or your personality. And your face that we're looking at, some of you, I see a beautiful face here. I see Deborah's beautiful face right now on my screen. And I see Karen, I see Michael. I don't see Catherine because her camera's off, or Sherry, but I know you're in there somewhere. But, I'm looking at your faces. Hi, I see you now. Oh, you're beautiful. Okay, as you look at my face and I look at your face, we are looking at the mask or the place that we show the world our personality. We're behind here. But your personality is really this incredible collective potion that came from your mom and your dad and your family of origin and your culture, and then all the things that happened to you and all the things that you made happen. All those amazing things have come together and made you this holistic blob of personality. And yet there's something that's gluing you together that's even bigger than this personality. And I call it the tree of you. So I want to talk about the tree of you. It's more than your face, though it's beautiful. And it's more than this body that's great and wonderful. There is something inside of you. There's an essence, a core, a strand that somehow holds you between heaven and earth or something. And that's the most important part of you. It's the core of you. Now, a long time ago, years ago, I met an elderly woman. She was in her 90s, and she said, I'm kind of old. I said, how old are you? She said, look at this. And she pulled up her shirt, pulled down her pants, and showed me her belly. She said, count the rings around my belly button. Okay? So that she wanted me to act as if she was a tree. And I thought, we're all trees. Only it's not just the rings around our belly button or the rings around our eyes or the wrinkles on our face. We're a tree that has a core, an essence, a phenomenal thread. And that thread or that core or that essence is the core, the pith of the tree. And that is what you know to be truth that has nothing to do with your personality. It has everything to do with what you know is beyond your personality, that is the essence of truth. And nobody can teach it to you except yourself. And folks, the reason I do hypnosis, the reason I'm nuts on this subject, the reason I've written 21 books now on this subject, the reason I breathe this and live this 24/7 and teach it and do conferences and run an organization, there's only one reason, is because I want to help as many people before I leave this planet find that core or that essence that goes beyond their hypnosis, that is their personality, beyond their structure and beyond the rules and beyond the things that you've been hypnotized to believe about yourself, because there's only one truth about you. Take a deep breath, everybody. Please listen carefully, because there's only one truth about you. And just close your eyes for a minute. Who are you when you put aside your personality? Who are you? Who are you? Maybe a word comes to you, or a color, or an essence, a flavor, a taste. I can't see Joe or Met or Zach or any of you folks there, but I know you're there. Barbara or Ruth or Sean, I know you're there. Find the core. Find the essence in you. And you can take any subject there is, any subject at all, whether it's love or money or more clients or whatever. And if you start from that core of your being, that essential you that came here knowing everything because you're hip and you do gnosis everything. If you come from that place, you can manifest anything you want on this earth walk. I believe that to be true. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. And that's what transpersonal hypnosis is about. And the most exciting thing about this work starts with you, because this mirror that you've been looking at forever goes like this. And suddenly, I can see clearly now, the rain has gone. I can see no obstacles in my way. You can see everything, you know everything, because you're hip and you gnosis. And that's what we do for a living. And anybody who's not a hypnotist listening to this, you are hip and you gnosis everything. Get over yourself. Get over your personality. Get over your story about your childhood or somebody who done you wrong or how you're limited or how you're not limited. Just get over the stories and just be what you are, perfection. That's what I have to say, really. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to play some more, but that's what I really wanted to say, because that's what it's about. That's what we do for a living. And that's why we all are obsessed with this ridiculous phenomenon called hypnosis, which doesn't make sense because we don't even know what a mind is. But we all wind up at this place of enlightenment with our clients and with ourselves. And when we do, we are high, higher than a kite. It's just great. Any questions?
That was lovely.
It was lovely
experience.
So, you know,
I have a question for you, Shelley.
Yes, Karen.
I've known you for years, and you are always this up, happy, positive, all of that. Do you ever have a down moment?
I had one today.
So tell me about that. And not that I want
Okay. All right. So now listen to this. I'm a block from my house and I get a speeding ticket. Why? Because we have a speed trap in our neighborhood. About 7 years ago, I was stopped at the same place and got a speeding ticket. So I went to court and I fought it and I proved that we have a speed trap and it's illegal to use radar. And I won when I appealed it to the higher court. So now I get a ticket in the same place from a different cop. So today I had to go to downtown LA to the courthouse so I could plead this case. And I was nervous. Why? Because I really don't like courts. And I don't really like having to do this kind of blah, blah. I mean, part of me likes it, but most of the time I just rather have fun because I think that's what life's about. And so I was with my husband and he was going, "You're going to do fine. Don't worry. Don't worry." And I'm going, I'm like really stressed and everything. And the cop didn't show up.
Yeah.
And my husband's going, "I'm really proud of you, Shelley. I'm really proud of you." And I'm thinking I didn't do anything except stress about something that I was prepared to do what I had to do to defend the law that should never be happening in my town because they're harassing us with stupidity.
I'm
this
really
is
proud.
a big
I'm really
system
proud.
and it's a money machine.
I'm really proud of you, Shelley, and I'll tell you why. Because you know what you did do? You showed up.
I showed up.
You showed up. That's right.
Not only did I show up, I prepared. I wasted an entire day yesterday preparing the little paragraph that I was going to say. I mean, a whole day when I am trying to put on a conference in March that's going to be fabulous. I want to promote that so everybody comes.
Well, in fact,
I have to finish my book on Thrive on medical hypnosis, and I'm creating a tarot deck, and I got to spend an entire day figuring out how to make some poor little police lady look like a chimpanzee. That was not pleasant.
Yeah.
So we had a nice lunch.
Tell us about your conference, Shelley. Tell us about your conference.
Okay, so everybody's invited. It's the International Hypnosis Federation. It's all about you retreat for mind, body, spirit, fun, and money. It's being held at the Mary and Joseph Retreat Center in Los Angeles area, Rancho Palos Verdes. And anyone who comes to this retreat is invited to speak for 5 minutes if they would like. And you can videotape it and put it up on the YouTube as a hip talk, like a TED Talk. Mm-hmm. This is our 3rd year to have this retreat. It's a lot of fun. We have some great speakers. We have Michael Watson. We have Dick Sutphin. We have James Wanless, who created the Voyager Tarot deck. We have Kathy Kennedy. We have, so many people. Susie Pruden. We have a lot of authors, a lot of very famous hypnotists, and a lot of folks that are just famous in other areas. A lot of medical doctors, a lot of nurses, a lot of hypnotists. And the idea of this retreat is it's not like a hypnosis conference where you go to breakouts. This is where we're all in one room. We eat together. We hang out together at a beautiful retreat center. There's peacocks running around. It's really fun and it's educational. And no speaker is allowed to sell from the lectern. Their entire point is to teach you something. And your entire point is to teach us something. So we have an open exchange of ideas. And anyone who wants to speak is invited because I found over the years that a lot of times the attendees at a retreat or a conference knew more than the speakers.
Yeah.
And to insult an audience with browbeating from somebody who thinks they're smarter than anyone else is not okay because we're all that smart. Mm-hmm. And so what we want to do is get everybody to share. It's an open sharing of ideas. This is our 19th conference. The International Hypnosis Federation has 4,000 members all over the world. And the people who come are always really interesting. This is a conference that's small. There's probably going to be 75 people. And then following the conference, if you want to study core transformation, Michael is teaching a 2-day class, and it's fabulous. And I'm teaching a 5-day class, which hopefully will be fabulous. I'll do my best.
Of course Well, they-
And if you want to know more about it, you go to ihfretreat.com, ihfretreat.com. And if you want to call me, I will put my number on the comment side here, and you can call me. Please call me, because I love to talk about my favorite subject, which is two things, you and hypnosis. So I have another question for everyone here, and this is not part of my talk, because I know I'm probably running out of time, but this is real important to me. In a book that I'm writing called Hypnosis, History, Mystery, and Mastery, I have a section in the book called How They Became a Hypnotist. And I would love it if you would email me your story, because how people became hypnotists is a very fascinating subject.
Mm-hmm.
And you all have an amazing story, those of you who are hypnotists or even considering being a hypnotist. Like Michael's story, wasn't it riveting for those who were on a little while ago? Michael didn't even know he was doing hypnosis, and these are the words Michael used when he was talking about were you a brother? Is that what you were?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. You used the word enchanting. You used the word mystical. You used the word flavor of favor. You said the world as you dream it. And then I still don't know what a shawar is, by the way. You might want to explain that to me. I didn't get that. I missed it.
It's just the name of the tribe. It's SHUAR, the people in the Amazon.
Oh, in the Amazon. Oh, thank you. I missed that. I was in an altered state. But
Yeah.
So I'm interested in any feedback from anybody right now who's listening, who has anything they'd like to say. I really want to hear from you guys, not just talk at you.
Okay, and I just want to tell everybody too, while we're wrapping this up, because we do have one more speaker that's waiting in the wings here, but Shelley, if you would put the information in the chat window that you talked about.
Yes.
I haven't really told everybody on the call, so some of you may not even know about the chat window. My goodness. So in case you don't, down, I would say on your screen, it should probably be right underneath my chin. If you pull your mouse down there, there's probably a little button that says chat. And if you click on that, it will open up a window that has comments and things that folks may have made through the call. I should have told you this earlier. So I understand that's where Shelley is going to put her contact information.
Okay, I've just done it, I think. Yes, I have. I've just done it.
Yes, you have.
Okay, that's good. So please hang out with us. Please come to the conference. And if it's particularly, let me know if you're coming, because if you want to speak, Karen Hand, it would be lovely to have you speak. It's an amazing time of the year. It's so beautiful up here. And I know some of you on the East Coast are freezing, but I'll tell you right now, it's been hotter than Hades over here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
We're just enjoying a nice summer in January.
It's even been freezing here in Florida. My goodness.
That's right.
Isn't that wild? So thank you for letting me speak at your wonderful forum.
Well, thank you. It's just been delightful to have you. And our first World Hypnotism Day from the virtual chapter, and it's just going lovely. So thanks so much for being part of it, Shelley. I will really appreciate it.
We thank you so much.
You're welcome. Love you guys.
Yep. And hang out if you want to, of course. Andrea Michelle is up next.
I'm hanging.